Toledo, we're famous for glass, Art Tatum, Tony Pacos, Jamie Farr, a world-class museum, the Toledo Mud Hens and Walleye, an outstanding zoo and public library system. But who are the people that make our city so great? Welcome to the Soul of the Glass City podcast. I'm your host, Monique. Hey everyone, it's Monique, and I recently went to an event that was really amazing. It was the third annual DEAI Summit and CEO panel at Imagination Station. It was hosted by the DEAI Alliance of Northwest Ohio. For those that don't know, DEAI stands for Diversity, Equity, Access, and Inclusion. I was able to speak with the Vice President of Economic Development at the Obama Foundation, Marquis Miller, Matt Killam, Tiff Thompson, and Dr. Akousua Barthwell Evans. I'm here with the Vice President of Economic Development for the Obama Foundation, and we are just concluding the DEAI Third Annual Summit and CEO panel taking place at Imagination Station. We're so honored to have him here, and I just wanted to hear his thoughts of this wonderful event that we just enjoyed.
So it's been a great experience for me. Always enjoy coming to Ohio, my home state, and the energy that I experienced was also very positive because this work around economic development, about diversity, equity, access, and inclusion is so vitally important for our communities. And of course, I'm not surprised because of my experience last year when I spoke and also moderated that Toledo is a lot more progressive than people realize. And I don't think progressive is a bad thing when it comes to making sure that communities have what they need to thrive. So I'm really looking forward to continuing to watch the work of the DEAI Alliance of Northwest Ohio and all the marvelous things they're going to do, and hopefully steal a few tips from them that I can take back to my friends and colleagues in Chicago.
We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come to little old Toledo. You know, the Glass City needs people like you to show us the bigger picture, because we are trying to do it here and it's really hard sometimes. And so I really appreciate, and we all really appreciate you taking time out to, come here and speak to us.
Well, it's been my distinct pleasure, and hopefully I'll get a chance to take some of the learnings that I've picked up back and apply them, because this is the most important work of our time.
Definitely. And we love that, it's not a too small thing for you, because in Toledo, we don't really know how big this work is, but I think that this group really is showing, the city, it is a really big deal, and nothing's going to stop us from doing this work.
Yeah, it's great that you have the commitment of leaders like Brian, who's leading Owens Corning, and Vince from SOE, and the folks from Bon Secours, Mercy Health, from ProMedica, and the other corporate leaders. It takes leadership to make community change happen, not by themselves, but in common cause with their employees and with the neighborhoods where they draw their talent from. So I think that's what has made this experience very positive for me, is seeing those leaders lead with authenticity and with intentionality.
Again, it is an honor and a privilege to have you, and I'm sure that, working for our former president has taught you a lot, and I'm sure you knew a lot before, because he wouldn't have hired you, right?
Well, it's been a wonderful experience, and there's a lot more of that to come for our commitment to community as well.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
I'm here with Matt Killam, and I'm just so excited to see him because I haven't seen him in a long time. But I wanted to know, what brings you here today? Why was it so, urgent for you to be here and volunteer even?
Sure. Yeah, well, this is important, and I dare say, at least in our most recent landscape, one of the more important times than ever, to rally the community around DEAI, right? So legislation and a bunch of things and the constant changing political landscape have made this work front and center again. And I work for the park system, so I literally work for the people that live in Lucas County, and that means everyone that lives here. And if I'm truly fulfilling our mission and my promise to the community, and thus the Metro Parks promise, this is exactly where I should have been spending my time today. So it's connecting people with resources, it's making sure that everyone has an equitable shot at employment, and also candidly, equity is black, white, yellow, red, but it's certainly green. And what I mean by that is we have to continue to make sure that we are kicking the tires on our 95-year-old institution to make sure that everyone has an opportunity not just to live and play, but also to work. And diversifying the suppliers we use and things of that variety. You can never assume, nor does this ever work fully get done, right? Which is both good and also can be a gauntlet, right? So things like this are important to get people around the same table. It's a bit of a pep rally in some ways, right? Because you know you're doing the right thing, but you need resources. You need people who are accustomed to sort of being in the front line in the trenches with you. I know that sounds trite, but that does feel like this kind of work is like that sometimes. So we're stronger in numbers. And here we are today celebrating doing the right thing, essentially.
How long have you been in your mind and in your life doing this work?
How long have I been doing this work? I don't. I'd like to think that I've been mindful of it my whole life, but how long have I been doing it right? I don't know. Never. And I mean this sincerely. I'm 45 years old. I've worked for the park system for 6 years. I came from the private sector, and wanting to do the right thing is sometimes vastly different than doing the right thing, right? And you can't assume that you know the best practices or what people's needs are. So I don't know that I can really lay claim to being on the right path, but things like today either reaffirm that you are or make sure that you know how to get back on that path. So Metro Parks have made this part of our 4 pillars that now is about 4 years old. And what that means is making sure that it's a part of our DNA and truly a part of everything we do. But we want to make sure that's something we do instinctually as opposed to having to be reminded. So I don't know how to answer that question accurately.
I think that was the most beautiful answer,
Yeah.
and I was very intrigued and encapsulated in it. So you are most likely, based on that answer, doing the work.
Okay.
And doing it to the best of your ability.
That I hope is certainly true. It's not without a lot of effort. So.
Well, I appreciate you sitting with me today, and we are definitely happy to be here doing this today.
Great to see you.
Yep, thank you. I'm here at the DEAI 3rd Annual Summit and CEO panel at Imagination Station, and I'm sitting here with Tiff Thompson. Tiff, how are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm great. Can you tell us why we're here today and what brought you here today for this amazing event?
Absolutely. So it started out with a few different organizations in the Toledo area. I work at ProMedica, so I got to come to the team, and now I'm a board member for this organization. And we really noticed a need across our region when it comes to DEAI, and we felt like we needed some subject matter experts to be able to kind of advise people, inspire people, motivate people around this area to do better with DEAI, to improve their workforce. And so through conferences like this and other events that we'll have throughout the year, that's really our goal, is to be really the trusted advisors in the Northwest Ohio area.
That is amazing. That is great. So tell me, Tiff, what made you personally want to get involved in this work?
Yeah, so for me, I identify as non-binary, part of the LGBTQ community. I'm also neurodivergent, and for me, it's really a lot of lived experience. And when people from underrepresented groups are in the workforce, the opportunity to be more inclusive becomes really evident. And so once I started seeing how we could be more inclusive, it really inspired me to keep going, to teach others how to be more inclusive and how to be more welcoming to people who maybe, are from a different background than you. And so one of my favorite parts of what I do in this work is educating people on how to be more inclusive and to bring more attention to equity, because we talk about equality and equity, and we talk about opportunities for marginalized people, and sometimes it's not really as hard as people think. So I really enjoy, grabbing that low-hanging fruit, to use a buzzword, to make a difference not only in the workplace, but then I notice how it impacts our region and our city as well.
I really love that, and I so appreciate that you took time out of being here. And I know they got you doing a lot, so thank you so much for sharing your insight on this, and I know you're going to continue to do great work.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yep. I'm here at the DEAI 3rd Annual Summit and CEO panel, and I'm here with Dr. Akousua Barthwell Evans, and we are just concluding the event, and I just wanted to get an interview with her because I was listening to her talk, and it was just so profound, and I just want to see what else she can share with us today, who she is, why she does what she does, and all that good stuff.
Thank you so much. So just professionally, I am an attorney. I was co-marshal of my class at Yale Law School in 1990, and I have a PhD from Columbia University. And I worked on Wall Street as a managing director at JP Morgan Chase for 6.5 years, where I ran 2 national businesses. I'm from an entrepreneurial family in Detroit, and so I decided to start the Barthwell Group, which is over 18 years ago. We do strategic management consulting. We have a profound interest in creating opportunities for others, equity, diversity, and inclusion. So one of our first engagements was to help Indiana University develop a program that would increase diversity in its graduate programs on its 2 research campuses. We've also done a lot of work in healthcare. So everything from the Yale Cancer Center. Right now we're working with Yale University to help develop a health equity summit that will occur in September in New Haven and will feature leaders of many healthcare systems to talk about how can we really address health disparities. We've done for Wayne State University, which is located in Detroit, has about 28,000 students, 3 health equity summits to try to address the disparities in the city of Detroit. We're also privileged to have worked with the Kellogg Foundation and the Kresge Foundation and the state of Michigan to help understand why it was that more underrepresented minorities were not taking advantage of COVID vaccinations. So that's kind of our mission, and that's what we do.
And how did you even start all this in your life, the passion and all that? Where did that come from?
I think it came from my parents. So my father was a trailblazing pharmacist. He came from a small town in Georgia, Cordele.
Would you like to name your dad?
Sure, Sidney Barthwell Sr. Came from a small town in Georgia, Cordele, Georgia. Grew up in a home with no running water or electricity. Migrated, part of the Great Migration, to Detroit, and then went to what was then City College of Detroit, now Wayne State University, became a pharmacist, and owned and developed 13 drugstores, which is more than any other African American has ever done, manufactured his own ice cream that had over 20 flavors, and also...
Can we give a shout out to the ice cream? No, I'm just playing. Keep going.
and also helped to write, he was an elected representative to rewrite the Michigan Constitution in 1962. So I've just finished writing his biography, which is being considered for publication.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I'll get that when we're done with the interview. So just an amazing story. After the mics are off, I just want to talk to you and learn all there is to know, especially if you have a deep-rooted Detroit history, because I love Detroit.
Okay.
But just for the Soul of Glass City podcast, we're going to keep it Toledo right now.
Okay. Okay. So yes. We've worked with the city of Toledo previously on a neighborhood revitalization program where we worked with community organizations as well as city officials to help consider how could they revitalize different parts of the city. I'm also committed to doing that in Detroit. So for 16 years, I was the president of the West Boston Boulevard Block Club Association, where we worked to revitalize our historic neighborhood, which is in the largest historic district in the state, without trying to avoid just gentrifications.
Well, it sounds like we could use you in Toledo too, so we'll have to talk about that as well. Okay. But thank you so much for sitting with me, and I just am so honored to be interviewing you right now.
Thank you for your important work.
Thank you everyone for listening. I'm your host and producer, Monique. My executive producer is Chris Pfeiffer. Join me next time for another exciting episode of Soul of the Glass City podcast. For more information, if you have questions or comments, go to wgte.org/soul.
WGTE. Voices around us.
WGTE is supported in part by the American Rescue Plan Act funds allocated by the City of Toledo and the Lucas County Commissioners and administered by the Arts Commission.